That cup of coffee you're drinking right now, the one you probably feel a little guilty about, might be one of the best things you do for your brain all day. And I'm not talking about the caffeine boost. I'm talking about something far more permanent. Researchers followed thousands of people for decades and found that those who drank 3 to 5 cups of coffee daily at midlife had a 65% lower risk of developing dementia later in life. 65%. That's not a marginal benefit. That's a dramatic shift in your odds. But here's what makes this fascinating. It's not just the caffeine. Coffee contains at least 6 different bioactive compounds: chlorogenic acid, caffeic acid, trigonylene, kawel, cafestol, each with its own neuroprotective effects. Your morning ritual isn't just waking you up. It's protecting brain cells, reducing inflammation, and improving insulin sensitivity in ways researchers are still mapping out. Now, before we go further, quick note. If you have existing health conditions or take medications, check with your doctor before making changes. This is education, not personal medical advice. What I'm sharing today comes from peer-reviewed research, and you'll find full references in the description. So let's talk about why coffee works, and more importantly, what else the science says actually protects your brain from aging. Because here's the problem. There's so much noise out there. Every week there's a new superfood, a new supplement, a new miracle compound. And most of it, I'll be honest with you, doesn't hold up when you dig into the research. But some of it does. Some foods have been tested in rigorous clinical trials, with brain scans and cognitive assessments and years of follow-up. And those are the ones we're going to focus on today. The Finnish researchers who discovered the coffee connection were actually studying cardiovascular health. They weren't looking for brain benefits at all. But when they analyzed their data from the CAID study, that's the cardiovascular risk factors, aging and dementia study, they noticed something unexpected. The coffee drinkers weren't just healthier in their hearts. Their brains were aging differently. And the effect was dose-dependent. 1 to 2 cups showed some benefit. But 3 to 5 cups? That's where the magic happened. That's where the 65% reduction appeared. Now, you might be wondering, is this just correlation? Maybe healthier people drink more coffee. The researchers controlled for that. They adjusted for education, physical activity, smoking, alcohol, cholesterol, blood pressure. The effect held. Coffee itself seemed to be doing something protective. But coffee is just the beginning. Let me tell you about what happened when researchers gave older adults the equivalent of 1 cup of blueberries every day. In 2023, a team of British scientists recruited 61 healthy adults between the ages of 65 and 80. They gave half of them 26 grams of freeze-dried wild blueberry powder, that's roughly equivalent to 1 cup of fresh blueberries, and the other half got a placebo. Neither group knew which they were getting. 12 weeks later, they tested everyone's memory and cognitive function. The blueberry group showed significant improvements in immediate recall and task-switching accuracy. Their brains were literally performing better on standardized tests. But here's what surprised even the researchers. The blueberry group also showed improved vascular function and a reduction in 24-hour systolic blood pressure by nearly 4 points. That's meaningful. That's the kind of reduction that lowers stroke risk. Why does this matter for the brain? Because your brain is hungry. It uses about 20% of your body's oxygen and blood flow. Anything that improves vascular function, anything that helps blood move more efficiently, directly benefits your brain tissue. The anthocyanins in blueberries, those are the compounds that give them their deep blue color, appear to be doing double duty. They're antioxidants, yes, but they're also improving the flexibility of your blood vessels. They're making it easier for blood to reach every corner of your brain. And this isn't just one study. A systematic review of 11 different trials found consistent benefits for delayed memory and executive function, the ability to plan, focus, and switch between tasks. The benefits appeared in children as young as 7, in adults over 60, and even in patients already showing signs of mild cognitive impairment. 1 cup of blueberries every day for 12 weeks. That's not complicated. That's not expensive. And evidence is remarkably solid. But I want to show you something even more compelling. Something that might change how you think about food and brain aging entirely. In 2015, researchers published the results of a randomized controlled trial that followed nearly 450 people for over 4 years. This wasn't observational data. This wasn't correlation. This was the gold standard, a proper clinical trial where people were randomly assigned to different diets and then tracked for years. One group followed a Mediterranean diet supplemented with extra virgin olive oil. Another group followed a Mediterranean diet supplemented with mixed nuts. The third group, the control group, was simply advised to reduce dietary fat. After 4 years, every group was tested on memory, attention, executive function, and global cognition. Here's what happened to the control group. Their memory scores declined. Their frontal cognition declined. Their global cognition declined. This is what normal aging looks like. This is what happens when you don't intervene. Now, here's what happened to the Mediterranean diet groups. Their memory scores improved. Their frontal cognition improved. Their global cognition remained stable or improved. The difference in frontal cognition, that's attention and executive function, was particularly striking. The olive oil group improved by 0.23 standard deviations, while the control group declined by 0.33. Let me put that in perspective. The control group's brains were aging normally over those 4 years. The Mediterranean diet group's brains essentially weren't aging at all, at least not cognitively. This is one of the only randomized controlled trials showing that a dietary pattern can prevent cognitive decline. Not slow it. Prevent it. The researchers provided the olive oil and nuts to participants, ensuring quality and compliance. And the results were published in JAMA Internal Medicine, one of the most rigorous medical journals in the world. So what does this diet actually look like? Extra virgin olive oil as your primary fat, about 1 liter per week. Nuts daily, about 30 grams, roughly a handful. Plenty of vegetables, fruits, legumes, and fish. Moderate amounts of poultry and dairy. Very little red meat or processed foods. It's not about perfection. It's about pattern. And the pattern protects your brain in ways that isolated supplements simply cannot replicate. Speaking of patterns, let me tell you about something that sounds too good to be true, but actually holds up to scientific scrutiny. Dark chocolate. I know. I was skeptical too. But the research is surprisingly robust. A systematic view of 11 studies in young adults found that cocoa intake, both single doses and regular consumption over weeks, improved cognitive outcomes. And when researchers looked at what was happening inside the brain, they found increased cerebral blood flow and oxygenation after acute consumption. With chronic intake, they found elevated neurotrophins. Those are growth factors that help brain cells survive and form new connections. But here's the part that really caught my attention. Cocoa flavonols don't just protect existing brain cells. They appear to stimulate angiogenesis and neurogenesis, the formation of new blood vessels and new neurons in regions associated with learning and memory. Your brain is growing new cells from chocolate. Now, there are important caveats. Not all chocolate is created equal. The benefits come from flavonols, particularly epicatechin. Milk chocolate has very little of those. Heavily processed cocoa has very little. You need high flavanol dark chocolate, 70% cocoa or higher, or pure cocoa powder that hasn't been Dutch processed. Dutch processing destroys the flavonols. And obviously, chocolate also comes with sugar and calories. This isn't permission to eat unlimited amounts. But incorporated thoughtfully, a square or two of quality dark chocolate, a tablespoon of cocoa powder in your smoothie, the research suggests genuine brain benefits. Now, I want to take you somewhere unexpected, into the molecular machinery of your brain. When you learn something new, when you form a memory, specific genes in your brain cells switch on. Scientists call them immediate early genes. And they include names like FOS, EGR1, and NPS4. These genes are essential for synaptic plasticity, the brain's ability to form and strengthen connections. Here's what researchers discovered when they gave green tea catechins to aging mice. Those plasticity genes, the exact same genes that fire during learning, showed increased expression. The mice given green tea weren't just protected from cognitive decline. They were maintaining the molecular machinery of learning itself. And it wasn't subtle. The treated mice performed better on cognitive tasks and actually lived longer. The researchers found an optimal dose, equivalent to a few cups of green tea daily in human terms, where the effects were most pronounced. In humans, the research is still emerging, but early results are intriguing. A small trial combining omega-3s with green tea catechins showed changes in brain activation patterns, increased activity in regions associated with attention, and improved connectivity between task-relevant networks. What does this mean practically? Green tea isn't just an antioxidant. It appears to keep your brain in a more plastic, more learnable state. The same molecular switches that allow you to learn new information stay more responsive. 2 to 3 cups daily seems to be the effective range. Matcha delivers higher concentrations of catechins since you're consuming the whole leaf rather than an infusion. But regular green tea, consumed consistently, appears to offer real protection. Now, let me close with something that might surprise you about baby brains. Lutein is a carotenoid, a yellow pigment found in leafy greens, eggs, and some other foods. For decades, scientists studied it mainly for eye health. It protects the retina from blue light damage. But when researchers started analyzing human brain tissue, they found something unexpected. Lutein is the predominant carotenoid in the human brain. More than beta-carotene, more than lycopene, lutein appears to be selectively accumulated in neural tissue. And in babies, pediatric brains show lutein concentrations that account for more than 50% of total carotenoids, twice the proportion found in adults. Babies are born loaded with this compound. Evolution seems to have decided that developing brains need enormous amounts of it. This suggested something important. Lutein might be essential for neural development and function in ways we're only beginning to understand. So researchers designed a trial. They gave 44 older adults, average age 72, 12 milligrams of lutein and zeaxanthin daily for 1 year. A control group got placebo. Both groups underwent cognitive testing and brain imaging. After a year, the supplement group showed significantly less cognitive decline on verbal learning tasks. The effect size was large, 0.84 on the Cohen's D scale, which researchers consider a meaningful clinical difference. Brain imaging showed increased activation in the left prefrontal cortex during memory recall, specifically in the supplement group. The researchers suggested lutein may enhance cerebral perfusion, blood flow to the brain. The same vascular mechanism we saw with blueberries and cocoa. But here's the practical piece. You don't need supplements to get lutein. Spinach, kale, and other dark leafy greens are rich sources. And eggs, particularly yolks, contain lutein in a highly bioavailable form, alongside choline and omega-3s. A cohort study following over 1,000 older adults found that those who ate more than 1 egg per week had a 47 to 49% lower risk of Alzheimer's dementia. Almost half the protective effect was mediated through dietary choline. But lutein likely played a role too. The foods that prevent brain aging aren't exotic. They're not expensive. They're not locked behind a supplement paywall. They're coffee and blueberries and olive oil and dark chocolate and green tea and leafy greens and eggs. Foods humans have eaten for generations, now validated by rigorous modern science. These foods work better in combination than in isolation. The Mediterranean diet isn't powerful because of any single ingredient. It's powerful because the pattern creates synergy, omega-3s enhancing antioxidant absorption, polyphenols improving vascular function, multiple compounds working through different pathways to protect the same vulnerable brain tissue. This is why isolated supplements often fail where whole foods succeed. You can't extract the magic into a pill. The magic is in the pattern. Now, everything I've shared today is the good news. The foods that work, the habits that protect. If you found this helpful, please share it with someone whose brain health you care about. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our next science-backed video. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.